Yes, guys, this is FPL Insight. We're chasing green arrows. I'm Gianni, the FPL guy, and I'm joined by transfer guru, Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you?
Okay, mate. Yeah. Surviving the heat, so that's all good. Haven't tinkered with my team either so far over the weekend since we last recorded. I've just left it for now. It's definitely not how it's going to be staying, that's for sure. Because even since talking about Rashford the other day, I'm like, I'm not really going to start the season with Rashford, am I? Like, so that's gone in
Yeah,
my
I
head
feel like he's
anyway.
gone in
But
and out of a lot of teams in the last few days. He's gone in and he's gone
yeah,
out.
it's a nice idea, but the reality of it isn't probably going to be great, is it? So, and there is still transfers to be made and stuff, which I keep trying to remind myself as a transfer reporter that take your own advice and hold out on some of these because there's going to be some good stuff happening. But some interesting transfers going on right now, like the Zinchenko to Arsenal one. I think is going to be a really
Yeah.
good one, not particularly from an FPL point of view, but I think it still might be interesting because we're going to be keeping an eye on where he actually plays. Wants to be a centre mid, but obviously will at times play left back for Arsenal. We have to see. Kieran Tierney won't get through a whole season,
Yeah.
so he will become an asset probably at some point. So let's wait and see.
Yeah, Kieran Tierney's not going to get through half a season
No,
if his current record's anything to go by. Guys, hello, if you're
exactly.
watching, let us know where in the world you are, but also how hot it is. So I'll kick you off. I'm in Rutland, middle of England. It's 40 degrees or 39 maybe. It's so hot. It's like ridiculously sweaty. I can see in the chat, Steps FPL is with us. Hello to you, my friend. Steps, I don't think you've watched this channel before, Steps, but it was lovely to see you at Fest in the UK. You flew over from New Jersey to London to come to Fest, and I'm
Is
delighted
that
to
that
say,
person?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
Steps
remember
has
seeing that.
he's just bought a ticket to the New York Fest, so I'm delighted with that.
Oh, happy
Henry
days.
Stable is with us as well. Frode's with us. Colm, Bernardo, I'm 1974. So yeah, guys, how hot is it where you are, and where are you? I'm guessing the uh, average temperature in England might be higher than the average temperature in other sort of even Mediterranean climates today. Keith
At the
says he's
moment,
only got
yeah.
one jumper on in Scotland. Should have got the one jumper on. Love
Nice, I
that.
like it. I like it.
Bernardo's in
Um,
Portugal at 22 degrees. Tiffany's in US at 90 Fahrenheit. I think we're
well, in
hotter than 90
Fahrenheit,
Fahrenheit. Is that around
yeah, well,
what we
mine's
are, Dean?
95. We are Fahrenheit. Yeah.
Love
We're
that.
95 at the moment.
I
Yeah,
knew
so
you'd know the American translation with your the amount of trips you've had
yeah.
to
My
the
wife only
States.
speaks. I actually tend to use Fahrenheit now because my wife's like converted me, and it sounds hotter. It sounds hotter,
Sounds
doesn't it?
better.
It's like, oh, it's nearly 100 degrees where we are. It's like it sounds better than like 43 or whatever. So,
Has she
um,
converted you to saying stuff like vacation, sidewalk, trash? Do you use those Americanisms because she does?
not me, no, but the kids are obviously like that. They go backwards and forwards, and they say like trash, sidewalk, vacation,
Love
which
it.
sounds really weird because they've got like proper like Surrey accents. So yeah, it's quite funny.
CR7 fan, hey guys, new to the channel. Well, good. You can give us a subscription because this is an awesome channel, my friend. Usually watch Gianni on Fantasy Football Scout where he does his game week reviews with ads, and they will continue on Wednesdays, but on Mondays and Fridays, it's Chasing Green Arrows time. 7 o'clock, we do these streams every week. It's always me and Dean. We talk transfers and we talk FPL. So coming up in the next hour, if you're new around here, we've got a treat for you because you always consume FPL content, don't you? I know you guys. You're watching all the other YouTubers. Well, here we do something different because we talk transfers as well. And we don't just talk from a speculation point of view. We talk from someone that actually knows what he's doing, a qualified journalist, a blue ticker, Mr. Dean Jones, who's got good links at clubs. And he's going to be talking through some of the biggest transfers to watch out for in the next couple of weeks. Harshill, Dean, I'll get your thoughts on this. Haaland and Martinelli is 11.5 and 6 million in the midfield, or Salah and Greenwood. He's set on Kane. This is all about, do we go without Salah, Harshill? What's your quick insight into that thing? So I'm going to be showing a no Salah draft later.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the massive gamble is that Liverpool are playing Fulham the first day of the season, and a lot of people will have Salah as captain in that game, and it could quite easily be a goal fest. So that's your gamble. Martinelli, I've noticed, is starting for Arsenal as it's set right now. It looks like it's Martinelli and Saka on the flanks with Jesus through the middle and Odegaard behind them. So it looks like at the moment that's what we can expect from
Yeah.
Arsenal. So Martinelli seems like he's going to be a starter, and Haaland obviously is he's good to score goals. So it's It's fine, but it's still a gamble because of what Salah might do. And then you're going to have Greenwood, who probably not going to be playing. So that's the other gamble.
Yeah, there we go, guys. We'll talk more about No-Salah draft later. We've got loads of fun stuff coming up. We're going to start with transfers. Do like the channel, and if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button as well. Also, guys, get your questions in. This stream is all about you. We try and make it the most interactive FPL stream on YouTube. Your questions will be answered. Like, can't guarantee every one, but we get to so many. And if we don't answer it there and then, at the end of the show, we got 15 minutes where we go through and pick out all of our favorites. So feel free to use the chat and discuss all those topics amongst yourselves as well. But first up, we've got Transfernomics.
I bet Fabrizio Romano wouldn't let someone put his head on a body like that, would he? He wouldn't be having it. But,
he's been on this channel as well. I was delighted to see, but I prefer you, mate. I wouldn't want him. If I've offered a free trade, I'd take Dean all day long.
I appreciate it. I'm not sure it's a wise decision, but I appreciate it. Anyway, Lingard to West Ham is the first room we're going to look at. And I've given it a medium rating. Now, look, if I'd be totally honest, in terms of this deal happening, I'm tempted to go hot. Like, I think Jesse Lingard is about to announce his decision for next season, and I think he is actually going to choose West Ham. The only reason I've gone for medium is because, like, he can be a bit flaky, and I'm like, I can see him backtracking on his decision, like, last minute of being actually now go Newcastle or something like that. But all the information I have from the last few days is that he's going to West Ham, and that's quite an exciting FPL one, to be honest. If last time around was anything to go by, you've got a price prediction on there of 7 mil. Probably a bit too punchy for me in terms of having in my team for the start of the season. But if Lingard does join West Ham and he starts the season well, we all know that is a sort of guy that you could quickly turn your head and want you to get him in. West Ham got a lot to build on from last season. Lingard liked it last time, and he brought a lot to that setup. So this is one to watch out for, maybe even in the next 24 hours. I was told to expect a decision by Wednesday. So let's wait and see. But yeah, Lingard to West Ham, very interesting transfer on the horizon.
Dean, if he doesn't go to West Ham, who are the other clubs being mentioned? You mentioned Newcastle there. A link to the MLS, is that possible? Are there any other clubs in for him? Or, I mean, I know West Ham are the favourites, but who are the other candidates?
Yeah, I mean, he's literally contemplated everything. Like, there's been countries in Europe, there's been Saudi Arabia, there's been MLS, and then in the Premier League, there's like Newcastle and clubs like that. Newcastle probably the most serious, to be fair, in the Premier League. Saudi Arabia obviously could have gone there and shed loads of money. I'm told he's not taking the money, like he's turned down money. So the information is like he's sticking to his roots a bit, like he's not taking the money. And I'm like, well, he's sticking to his roots, he's not taking the money. Well, they're pretty much the lowest offer on the table and kind of sticking to his roots, if you're like keeping it real, would be West Ham. Like, that's why I think that's the decision he's going for. I know somebody that works at West Ham, and they said, yeah, like, there seems to be people around here that think it's happening. None of us are convinced until we actually see him, standing in reception with his West Ham carrier bag full of merch. But yeah, it's a good one. I mean, would you be tempted to pick him?
He was do you know what? When he came into FPL and went to West Ham in January, the season before last, everyone sort of had a little smirk, like, who's going to pick Lingard? What's he going to do at West Ham? He was so good that within 2 weeks, he was in like 10% of teams. Within 3 weeks, he was in 20% of teams. Within 4 weeks, everyone had him. Like, he was just, he was so good. I think he was priced at around 6-ish million midfielder. He was scoring every week. It was a bandwagon, but it worked out. We know Moyes likes his sort of fast forwards that can interchange positions, Bowen and Antonio, as well as your Lingards. It works. But yeah, I don't know. This is another 18 months down the line, and at 18 months older and 18 months without football. Will he hit the ground running this time? Will he have that shock value? I'm not so sure, but depending on his price, he could be an asset. I mean, what do you think to Broja and how that will affect West Ham? So if they get him, then Antonio could move out wide, or Antonio could even be a sub. Like, I think as good as Antonio's been, Broja's not going to sit on the bench.
No, that's very true. And Broja's really pushed for that transfer as well. I think Chelsea are quite happy to keep him. And if anything, they wanted him to leave on loan rather than be sold. But I think West Ham probably burned a little bit by Lingard and the fact that he did so well for them and then didn't return when they thought he would. has given them a little bit of a different outlook on the Broja transfer. I do think he's on the verge of joining West Ham. There's been a little bit of discrepancy over the price. I think other teams were given a price tag lower than 30 million, but West Ham were given this 30 million. They've been trying to work out why. Ultimately, West Ham are going to end up paying £30 million for the player if they want him right now. Look, I think he'll do all right. I can't be sure. Like, I don't know if last season he did well and he kind of fell off a cliff. And I don't know if that was his fault or if that was Southampton's fault.
Yeah.
So I've got to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, we can't judge him on the last 4 months of the season. But by the same reasoning, I can't completely disregard every performance that he put in that second half of the season, whether he had knocks or not. Like, he wasn't that good. Certainly not as good as the hype had been going into the January market. So look, Lingard and Broja definitely is an exciting combination anyway for West Ham to be contemplating.
Yeah. Next up, we got Jed Spence. This one's been talked about a lot. It seems like it was always going to be Spurs. I'm guessing you've gone high. Yeah, extra hot.
Yeah. Very extra, very extra hot. Jed Spence going to be the 6th signing of the summer for Tottenham. Unbelievable that they've managed to get 6 significant transfers through the door by this stage of pre-season. Gives them a head start, some of the clubs around them, which is really key. Tottenham will want to finish 4th at the very least next season. Maybe they can finish 3rd if things go really well. And Jed Spence, from an FPL point of view, at 4.5 million is an extra hot one to look out for. Like, this guy will play that right wing back role. We saw the other day Lucas Moura played there for Tottenham, and Conte's been talking that up. He said, I could turn that into his position. Like, he's definitely got the traits to play there. But they're signing Jed Spence for a reason. He's the guy that they expect to become the regular right wing back. And by all accounts, he can do it. He had a good season last year. We'll have to see how he steps up, obviously, into the Premier League. I'm not sure he'll start the season. That's the other thing to consider here.
Agreed.
Like, not sure I'd have him in my team from week 1, but by game week maybe 4 or something, probably is going to be in a lot of teams.
Yeah, I mean, Doherty to start the season at right wing back, I think at 5 million isn't a bad shout. It's Southampton, then it is Chelsea. But Jed Spence is going to be getting a lot of minutes. But playing wing back for Conte, I know he's a wing back and he played wing back for Forest. Playing wing back for Conte is very different to playing wing back at a lot of clubs. Like, he asks so much of them. Also, this guy doesn't know his teammates. He's not gone on the preseason tour of Korea. Like, he will be joining late and Conte will need time on the grass with him. So expect Jed Spence to be a mainstay in that team, but not for a couple of game weeks. So don't pick him early.
Yeah.
But for those that are early wildcarding, I think he'll be in a lot of them, and he'll be 5 million at least, says Henry. He should be, but Doherty was priced at 5 million, and this is a kid that's new to the league, and I just think they might underprice him at 4.5. I mean, if he's not 4.5, of course he'll be 5. But no, Dyer just had a price boost to 5. He was 4.5 last year. Sometimes those new players onto the league, especially the young kids that have come from the Championship, they're priced super low. And they'll see that Spurs have got Emerson Royal and Doherty at the club already, and they might just be a little bit cautious there. But hopefully he is 4.5.
Hopefully, for sure, because it'd be a nice present for all of us, and it'd be one to really, really contemplate as the season wears on, for sure. So, yeah, that's a nice one to look out for. This is probably the most interesting one of the past few days. Ivan Toney is starting to be linked to a few clubs. Now, Leeds are the one we've gone with here because they've probably been most widely linked with him, but Man United have also been linked to Ivan Toney.
Jeez.
Now, can I see Ivan Toney replacing Cristiano Ronaldo? No, I can't see that. I've gone with a mild because, look, I'll tell you why I've gone with mild. Brentford's valuation on this guy is 45 to 50 million pounds.
No way. Is it really?
Yeah, and do you know what? Like, the reasoning is actually quite fair. So the reason that I was told that that's going to be the price point is because Ollie Watkins was £33 million when he joined Aston Villa, and he'd never played in the Premier League, and he went there, and he did pretty well. Ivan Toney came into the Premier League, and last season he scored 1 more goal than Ollie Watkins, so he now has a season of Premier League under his belt. He outscored Ollie Watkins, so if his starting point was going to be £33 million, he's more of a goal scorer anyway, I think.
Yeah, Watkins was playing wide left a lot, wasn't he?
Yeah, and so I'm like, actually, I mean, 50 million's obviously too much, but I can see why they might want to start there, or be like, well, this is where you end up. It might be 40 million with 10 million add-ons, whatever it ends up being, but it's still a lot of money. For Leeds, I see that, like, take away the financial aspect of it. If they could get them a reasonable fee, I think that's not a bad signing at all for Leeds. I think that's actually a pretty good fit. They obviously want someone who can fill in when Bamford's not there. And while Bamford looks like he's fit for the start of the season, we've got to presume there's going to be times when he's missing.
He's physical as well. He's different attributes to Bamford, isn't he? Like they can play together.
Leeds keep getting linked with wide forwards and wingers, and I'm like, they've got enough of those players. They need a player through the middle, and I'm told like it's more likely that they get like an out and out forward goal scorer than another wide player. So interesting. They have been linked with Nicolas Pepe as well, though, which I find really interesting. And I think like if you're looking for like a Rafinha replacement, and you were to look at Nicolas Pepe, like in terms of potential, it's all there.
Yeah.
Massive gamble, obviously, but like.
Wouldn't be 72 million though this time, would it, for Pepe?
Yeah, I think it would be like 7.2 million this time. But interesting one.
That'd be really interesting. Look, the idea of Toney to United or Leeds or whoever is very interesting. Brentford are an interesting team from an FPL perspective. Last year, we probably undervalued some of their assets and didn't jump on them at the right time. It will be interesting to see how Brentford get on the second season. Yeah, without Eriksen as well.
Yeah, I know he did score a few pens too, Toney. So like, if you look at his numbers, like he had a few pens in there, so it's hard to actually compare it like for like to Watkins. But interesting transfer.
CR7 fan, since I like Meslier, you obviously follow me on Twitter, CR7. I do like Meslier in the 4.5 just because I think Leeds Leeds under Jesse Marsh. People see Mellier's numbers from years gone by and are just comparing him with goals conceded and even shots conceded. That was a Bielsa team that was so open. Like, this Leeds team will be very different. And I rate Jesse Marsh highly. I think he's better than a lot of Premier League managers. And I think there'll be quite a few clean sheets. Also, the fixtures are so good. So when you can compare the 4.5 keepers, Sanchez is a good option. Raya could be, although I think Brentford will concede a lot more this year. They're looking at a back four. And then Pickford's not a bad option, but I think Meslier could be the best.
I've got Pickford in my team at the moment, and I watched Everton's defending against Arsenal in that pre-season friendly at the weekend. And if that's how they're defending, I know Tarkowski wasn't playing at that point, but like, I forgot what this Everton defence is like. I don't know if I can actually go into the season with Pickford because, he'll make saves, but he's also never going to keep a clean sheet at this rate because he's got nothing in front of him. It's actually quite scary. Everton, I think, are looking like they're dreadful season ahead. I don't know. They've got a really big window to come, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Tarkowski's a nice signing, but other than that, very little when they've lost their best player. So Richarlison's gone and DCL could even go. So, yeah. I'd go Meslier, and then, by the way, midfielder in that price point, I'd spend less than Rashford and go Martinelli at 6, who's on pens potentially. We don't know if Jesus will have them, but he did take a pen over Saka on the last day. Nitesh, any information for Zinchenko to Arsenal? Coming up in the next couple of minutes, guys, before we answer this, we'll be showing the No-Salah draft. We'll be looking at 3 players I'm going to tell you to swerve. Some are popular assets. But we'll stick with transfer chat for the next couple of minutes. But we're with you till 8 p.m. So we've got another 40 minutes. Keep getting your questions in. And guys, loads of you are watching on this very hot day. I think that's maybe worked to our advantage. But do give us a like, because currently we've got 34 likes. We can hit that like button a bit more, can't we, team? Nice. Any information on Zinchenko? Because I think at 5 million listed as a defender in FPL, that's not bad. Because if he plays left back, he'll be encouraged to get forward. But when he plays centre mid, he's like a number 8. He's on set pieces quite often. He'll be going a bit like Jesus to be one of the main men if he does go.
Yeah, I mean, this transfer is quite far down the line now. A few little things to sort out. Need to be wholly convinced that Zinchenko is definitely on board with the project and stuff. I think he is, from what I hear. Sounds like he's pretty excited about the way that Arsenal have been building under Arteta and how he would fit into the system. I think his versatility might go against him a little bit at times. And he wants to be a centre midfielder, and like, there's always going to be a temptation for coaches to play him on the left side just because like they know a job that he can do there too. And it's really hard to find players that are good there in terms of backup. But I mean, typically, I think the way he plays in the midfield, he'll be competing with Xhaka for that shirt. Arsenal now got some nice options in there. Fabio Vieira obviously coming in too. Odegaard having such a good pre-season that he's being considered for the captaincy at Arsenal now. So there's a lot of work going on at Arsenal, and it's looking good. And Jesus up top really does seem to be that ruthless finisher that they hoped they were getting. He's shown it so far anyway. So the signs are good, certainly better than Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, we've seen those memes already. Poor bloke. We'll speak maybe more a little bit about Darwin coming up next. Like, we're gonna be talking about players that I'm looking to swerve. Then we're gonna show a no-Salah draft. So let's check out our tips and chips. Here we have it. 3 guys, some of which are very popular assets. I've seen Laporte and Tomiyasu in a ton of teams. I've seen Darwin in a fair few. 3 players, we're going to go through them individually. Why I personally don't think they should be in your game week 1 team. So first up is Darwin. Like, it's a reasonable price tag, 9 million for a Liverpool number 9. Jota's also 9 million forward this year. Very good goal scoring record last season, but we don't know he's going to start game week 1. And I'd be, even if Jota is injured, I'd look at it and think maybe Firmino gets the nod in game week 1. And if Jota's fit, I think Jota probably does. I think Darwin might be eased into this team. Hasn't been scoring so far pre-season. The way Klopp plays, the way all these elite managers in a new league, their systems take a little bit of learning. And I don't think he's going to hit the ground running. And I look at that Liverpool attack and think, Salah, obviously, but Luis Diaz is 8 million in the midfielder, and Luis Diaz did hit the ground running and has been very, very good. He's a safe pair of hands in FPL now, and obviously we like the value in their defenders in Trent and Robbo. So you go Darwin, you're effectively blocking that third Liverpool spot, which you might want to be Robertson, you might want to be Diaz, shouldn't be Darwin, in my opinion. Dean, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, if he was having a better pre-season, I might be tempted, but from what I've seen so far, I couldn't possibly consider having him in there. As a Fulham fan, like, I'm obviously going to that game first day of the season, and I kind of want him playing. Like, from what I've seen so far, I'm quite happy. Like, even though our defense really is not very good, I'm happy to come up against this guy compared to the guys at Liverpool that I've been watching for the past few seasons. So, steer clear of Darwin Núñez at the moment. I'm not saying that this is the form he's going to be in all season, because I highly doubt that's the case, and I'm sure he'll come good. But it's not worth the risk at the start of the season, just because it looks a bit different to your mates and it's quite cool to have him. Like, that's definitely not that's about the best reason I can imagine right now for having him in your FPL team.
It's like people that all pick him up game week 1 might be like, oh, I know who he is. I watched him in Portugal. He's really good. Like, it's that little score you sometimes. I used to do that in FPL all the time. I'd be like, I'd pick these players that no one had ever heard of just to show that I knew they were.
Totally the same.
Ridiculous. All right, so there's our take on Darwin. Let us know in the chat if you've got Darwin in. I've saw a few drafts with him in about 2 weeks ago. Since the memes, I've not seen him in many drafts at all. And you can get Jesus for 8 million, who is scoring goals. Laporte, many will probably say, Laporte's, why would you not buy him? And look, Laporte isn't a bad signing in FPL. Same price as Diaz. I'd probably say Diaz is actually the bigger swerve. Like, Laporte became the go-to centre-back for Pep last season. The year before that, Diaz was the main man. Last year, Laporte was the main man. Diaz and Stones were actually vying for that second spot. Laporte is nailed, and he is Pep's go-to. But at 6 million, again, he blocks a Man City spot. You absolutely find the extra million to buy Cancelo. If you want to invest in City's defence, you have to have Cancelo. Let's all assume you're looking at Haaland as well. Well, that third spot, you want to be able to jump on a Mahrez or a Foden. I don't think Laporte's your guy. He did score 4 goals last season. He obviously doesn't have the assist threat. But for me, if you're spending that sort of money on defenders, they always have to be fullbacks. No centre-back is worth 6, knowing you can get Reece James and Chilwell at the same price.
No. Honestly, I think one of the only... when you get new people to FPL and stuff, and they start building their team, there's this inclination in your first couple of years of playing it where you like build a team as if that's the lineup they're going to play. So you pick a couple of centre backs, but there's absolutely no need to be doing that. And especially this season, like you said, umpteen times, like in terms of wing back options, like they're all there for you. You can get 5 good wing backs at reasonable pricing that you can fit them all into your squad and not lose out elsewhere. So there's just no need for Laporte unless he starts like having, going on random runs forward and getting on the end of Man City build-up play, then, which obviously isn't going to happen, then I don't see any need to have him.
Harry, come on, which one have you got? I reckon you've flirted with the idea of Laporte, but I don't think you've gone there. I reckon you might have Tomiyasu. Let us know. You know me, Harry. These are too safe, these players, for my liking. So, not that Laporte and Tomiyasu, they're too steady, they're too safe. I don't play that game. And I don't think you will this season either. I reckon your defence is probably full of those attacking fullbacks. But let's talk about a fullback in Tomiyasu. He's not an attacking fullback. Sure, he's been playing right back when he's played for Arsenal, but this is a guy that played right centre back a lot in Italy in Serie A and in Bologna. He's not naturally someone that wants to attack. He's tall, he's good in the air, he's good defensively, but he's not great going forward. So yeah, sure, he's 4.5. Same as Ben White, both 4.5. But I don't love 4.5 defenders that don't get attacking returns still. I look at the likes of even your Johnnies and your 8 Noris and think, yes, please. Even Lewis Dunk at Brighton, I know he's a centre-back. Lewis Dunk offers so much goal threat because he's really good at set pieces. Dan Burn, 4.5. Tomiyasu, not for me. And he is popular FPL River. But for me, his ceiling is 6 points. He's not a bonus points guy. He ain't an assist guy and he ain't a goal threat. Some of those other 4.5 defenders I've mentioned are. And actually, I just go down to 4 million and buy Nico Williams, who... his ceiling's bigger than 6. He won't get as many clean sheets, but it'll get some attacking returns at least, and it'll save you $500,000.
Yeah, exactly that. Look, I'll be honest, like in coming on this show every week with you, like Tomiyasu is the sort of safe player that I probably would have slotted. I mean, I probably actually would have gone with Ben White ahead of him, but I would have looked at players like that to make up my money. But yeah, since coming on here, you've definitely twisted my mind a bit and got me thinking to be a bit more exciting. You want to get something out of these players. Just watching Arsenal's result come in or whatever and hoping they haven't conceded a goal isn't much fun. But to see one of your players actually pick up an assist is way more exciting, isn't it? So yeah, I think that most people that are in this chat will have more about them than picking Tomiyasu.
Yeah, I think so. And Harry, just for confirmation, has gone Laporte. I don't think he's going to stick with him, though. You'll get the FOMO on Cancelo, Harry. I know you will. Find that extra mil. Although, look, who am I to give Harry advice? He smashed me last year in overall rank. So maybe Laporte is your guy. And Indadas, thoughts on Walker? He's 5 million, Walker. Again, for some reason, in that City shirt, he's never been a goals and assists guy, which we saw a little bit of at Spurs. There's no Zinchenko or Stones. Yeah, so let's assume Zinchenko's gone to Arsenal. They're going to replace him. Cucurella will come in. Like, surely there's going to be some left back. Like, Pep's not going to sell
Cucurella
these
this
guys
season?
without...
Is he 5.5?
He's 5.0. So
wow.
He could be an asset in that City team as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've got my eye on him.
Yeah, that's really one to have on the watch list for sure. Yeah, I thought he might be 5.5 because I thought they might have thought, well, he's not going to be starting the season at Brighton. We can't put a Man City fullback in at 5. But yeah, that would be it. See, it's little transfers like that are going to change everybody's thinking. And, that happens the week before the season starts. Suddenly, like, everybody will be jumping on him.
Yeah. I should add the Laporte mention and all these guys, they're here because they're popular assets. Diaz, for me, is a bigger swerve. At 6.0, you pick Laporte over Diaz. And I'm talking about Man City centre-back Diaz, not Luis Diaz, a Liverpool wide man. But Laporte, I know, is the popular pick that will get you lot talking. Thoughts on Soufal? 4.5. Cash is 5. Cash and Dean are both 5. Don't know why. I always prefer Luca Dean. I think it's the set piece delivery. Soufal at 4.5 is interesting because last year he was injured a lot. The year before that, his debut season, both him and Souček both came into the team, smashed it in FPL. Both the Czech guys. What do you reckon to Soufal, Dean?
Sorry,
is he? Dean might have a few internet issues. It's the heat. Are you with us, Dean? His audio's gone. Well, look, I'll give my take on Soufal. One to monitor. West Ham do keep clean sheets. Do you know what I often look at? I look at managers. Like, David Moyes teams keep clean sheets, so I've never minded Moyes' West Ham for clean sheets. And we know there can be a little bit of upside there with Soufal. Dean's going to get his new headset in. He's so cool. He wears the pods, doesn't he? And they're often a bit flaky, I think, the pods. CR7, Botman at 4.5. Botman's never 4.5, is he? Nah, Botman's 5. Check that. Dan Burn is 4.5. Botman, I'm pretty sure, is 5.0. Let's have a look. Newcastle defenders. And look, that Newcastle back line, how good is that at the moment? Like, it will be Shah next to Botman, possibly Burn next to Botman. And Botman he's 4.5. Wow, that is a bargain. I like. Laura says, thoughts on Lamptey. Dean, are you with us?
Sorry about that. I'm back.
You're back. You gone old school with the old headphones now.
Mate, that was so random. So in my AirPods, like today, I just didn't want to wear headphones today because I was like, it's so hot. I just don't want anything on my head. So I was like, oh, I'll just stick my AirPods in, even though I don't really trust AirPods for doing live shows. Why I don't ever wear them. And I thought, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So just as you were talking, like suddenly I start getting a kids' TV show playing in my ears. Like, obviously, my son has obviously like got an iPhone or an iPad out, and it's suddenly connected to my AirPods, and it just started playing. So I was very confused because you like turned into Daniel Tiger suddenly halfway through that sentence.
So good. So I saw them in your face. I watched that in real time.
I don't really know how to explain what is going on right now because I don't really know myself, but I'm back, and I think that'll be the last time I ever use AirPods on any sort of live show.
Would you go to Android?
No.
Brand loyal.
I'm too embroiled in this Apple world now, I'm afraid.
Me too.
It's a long way to go back, but yeah, let's crack on. I'm fully back to the old setup now. We're safe.
There we go. I think we're going to move on to a draft I put together. There might be a few tweaks we mentioned of a no-Salah draft. So look, this was put together a couple of days ago. Okay, let me talk you through it. So I've gone for the 4.5 keeper that I've spoken a lot about. The back is still 3 big boys, Nico Williams. As a starter, although you could go to a 4.5 and find the money. I've gone for 2 5.5s, but with hindsight here, Gordon and Neto, knowing we know what we know now again for Leon Bailey, who has played very well for Aston Villa so far pre-season and might be part of that front 3, I'd go Leon Bailey at 5 million and Martinelli at 6. So this would be a draft without Gordon, without Neto, but with Bailey at 5 and Martinelli at 6, which I think is a big upgrade. And if Leon Bailey's a starter, yes, please. His front 3 for Villa have got good fixtures. And I loved him at Leverkusen. I wanted Chelsea to buy him a few years ago and they were linked. What do you think about Leon Bailey?
I've never been convinced of the like the
one
Premier
good
League
season, didn't he? It one mental season.
He's a great player, but like players like him, his kind, I just worry about them coming to the Premier League because you have to be so consistent. Otherwise, people start turning on you really fast. You're left out the team for a bit. You can't find your consistency again. You can't find your form. And I just worry, like all the things I was concerned about have pretty much come true so far with Leon Bailey. Saying that, I have actually got him in my squad at the moment because of his form and the way he's being used so far in pre-season. I don't know that he will stay in it, but I think for a lot of people, this is a guy that we should be really closely watching in the build-up to the season because if he does find form and he finds a role in this team, he could be great for sure.
Yeah. And even at 5.0, all you need at that price is him to be playing every week. And look, he's never going to get 90. He's going to be a 60, 70 minute man, especially with the 5 subs. But there we go. Yeah. So, okay, let's go to the other one. So let's forget your enablers. This draft, more importantly, allows you to go Haaland, sure, but it allows you to go freemium. You could get Vardy in this team very comfortably. You could go Sterling very comfortably, very differential. But look, I've gone double Spurs attack. You look at those, Spurs have got Southampton under Conte. They've scored so many goals. Son and Kane could be a scary proposition as a double up, a proper good differential. You still have Liverpool cover with Luis Diaz and Trent, and you have Haaland. You could get KDB in instead of Son. Is no-Salah something you've considered at all, Dean?
It's not. No, as you say, no Haaland is something I've considered, but not no-Salah. And it's because it's Fulham. It's literally because it's Fulham, and I've watched Fulham my whole life. I know that we get battered in games like this, like reasonably regularly, and unless we like Fulham, like if we sign Issa Diop and another centre back, then maybe I would have more faith in my team. But still, I'd have to think of the fullbacks and how we were ever going to tame this Liverpool team. I just don't think we can do it. And so, because of that, I find it very hard to look beyond him. I don't think he'll be in my team all season as captain like he has been last year. But yeah, like FPL River says, the trouble with No-Salah is you'll need a bigger sofa to hide behind when Salah lines up against Fulham, and that is exactly it. Like, I personally, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because like again, going to that game, I obviously don't want Salah to score against Fulham, but if he does, then that's that horrible part of you that's like, oh, well done, like your choice was vindicated.
Yeah.
And it's hard to take satisfaction like that when it's against your team. But yeah, I think it's still brave. Like, I think this is a good team, though. Like, it's just a very strong team. And to have Son, Diaz, Haaland, and Kane is obviously 4 very strong options.
What I think this could come down to, if you are considering going no Salah, and look, I'm going to lay my cards on the table. I'm absolutely going to have Salah in my team. I'm not even considering not going there. But this is for those that are. You're not saying Salah's not going to score points. You know, against Fulham, Salah's going to pick up some points. You know he's going to be one of the best assets in the game. But it's still okay if you genuinely believe there are better options, right? You might say Salah's good, but Son's going to smash him, and I want to be differential, and I want that Son Spurs that Son Kane double up, and that's okay. Like if you want to commit to that, personally, I think you'd be a very brave FPL manager to go without him, knowing he's had a summer off. Knowing he arguably peaked last year and he could still be in that peak. Like the start of last season, for me, was the best we've ever seen of Mo Salah. He might recreate that. Knowing he doesn't have a World Cup, I just couldn't consider it. But if you want to, then you could do worse for going Son and Kane. That's a lovely Spurs double up.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at like what Liverpool's build up is into the season, and then they've got RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg, and then obviously it's the Community Shield on the 30th of July, Liverpool versus Man City. They've got another little one against Strasbourg as well the next day, but I doubt he'll be playing both of those. So it's going to be that Community Shield game, isn't it, that will ultimately decide everybody's mind on our Liverpool and Man City picks, because it's the clearest indication you get about what their actual team is. I always forget about that fixture, and like, it's such a weird game, the Community Shield, because half of me really likes it and half of me really just doesn't want to watch it at all. But it from an FPL point of view, it's kind of a must watch, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, was it last season with Leicester in it? Yeah, they were. I think, did Leicester beat Liverpool or something? I can't remember what Leicester did. I think they maybe won a shootout. Or it was against Man City. And everyone went from having no Leicester players in their Game Week 1 team to all having Harvey Barnes or Jamie Vardy, because Leicester had just beaten, I think they beat them, Man City. And it'll be the same this year. If Haaland blanks and KDB bags a hat-trick, Haaland won't be in any. Haaland's ownership will drop from 61.9 to 20-30%, and KDB's will skyrocket. That game will really shape our teams. And I'm really not committing to too much till after that. That game doesn't usually have 2 teams where you want 6 FPL assets come game week 1. This year it does. Like, we want triple City and we want triple Liverpool, really.
Yeah, so, it's a really good fixture to get us is prepared for what's to really come, like you say, and it'll also give us a better idea about Nunez and Luis Diaz and Jota and how they're thinking around those guys. Obviously, they'll be heavy. You know, there'll be loads of subs used and stuff, so we won't get a clear indication. But it will help us with things like this. And maybe it looked like Salah's slightly off form. Maybe he doesn't look sharp. There are little things that possibly could sway me, I guess, into leaving Salah out, but I'd say 90% Salah is set in my team.
Yeah. As Nuclear Atoms has whacked on their new contract bounce as well. I love a bit of new contract bounce in FPL. You do see it. I remember years ago, Sterling signed a new contract. I think he got a hat-trick the week after. It was like, it's an interesting one, the Salah contract, isn't it? I'm not personally convinced it means that much. It just means that Liverpool can get a fee from him in a year, but maybe I'm a cynic. Or protecting the club. Guys, this is all about you now. We've got 20 minutes left. We're going to be answering your questions. We're going to take a little step back, relax, Put the kettle on. No, don't. It's way too hot. Go get some ice cubes from the fridge. It's time to talk. Or perhaps even ice cubes from the freezer. Join our mini league. There we go. Oh, I love that. There we go. R5MX07. Our mini league is loads of fun, and you can play against me and Dean. And look, Dean and I don't go joining mini leagues for fun. Like, I'm in barely any. So this is an opportunity, to go head to head with us, and we'll hopefully be in the mix of this year. I would love one of us to be on that first page.
Oh my goodness, mate.
Good.
I'd like to be in the first 100 compared to where I was last season. Like, I don't even know how low I was in the end. But yeah, obviously, it's a new me in FPL this season because I've got to take it seriously. There's no messing around. Like, it's not just... I am in another mini league with my mates. As we know, anyone who's been watching this show since the day dot I'm in a league, and there's the curry zone down the bottom where you have to pay for all the other lads to have a night out, and you pay for the curries and the curry and the beers. That actually night hasn't happened yet. Can you believe it? Like, we haven't been able to get, since the season ended, we have not been able to get a date when everyone can make it. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous when you get to this stage of life, and it's pathetic, really. There's even a possibility it happens after the season has begun from the last time we were chatting about it last week. So that's ridiculous. But yeah, mini leagues are fun, and I think the good thing about it in Chasing Green Arrows is we do genuinely keep an eye on it. We obviously talked a lot to the guys last season that were right up the top of that league, and there was a proper scrap as well to win this league last year. And the points that you guys notch is unbelievable. Like, me and you obviously sitting here like trying to help people and stuff. The truth is, the people watching this show are much better players than me personally. Some of them even better than you.
FPL Harry.
FPL Harry, exactly, yeah. But yeah, it's great fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Look, in this section each week, we will also be looking at who got the best score of the week, which will be quite fun. So we can bring up their team and go, we'll give a nod to whoever's top of the mini league, but we'll also go who got the most points that week, show their team. So yeah, we'll be reviewing your teams hopefully very soon, guys. And look, if we've got 104 of you watching, hopefully you all get team of the week once. So 38 of you are going to be featured. That's pretty cool. CR7 fan, are you still a CR7 fan? Let us know. Dean, PLS, tell us that De Jong is joining. This is United transfers just go on and on, don't they?
They do.
I'm bored.
They do drag. But at least we've got a couple out of the way now. Like, Eriksen's done and Martinez is done. So like, that's good news, especially from my point of view. De Jong is boring me, but I do think it'll get done. I do. Like, United aren't just going to sign anyone for this position, and they've spent so much time being patient and waiting for this to play out that I just don't... I trust Ten Hag, and I think United fans should trust Ten Hag and this new version of Man United. Like, the way things have been shaping up over the past week or so with, like, 2 good pre-season wins, like, that's a great sign for, like, I know you can't read too much into these things, but like, confidence alone been a massive issue for Man United, and the fact that they've had 2 wins where they've scored 4 goals is a big deal. The fact that they've got those deals over the line for Eriksen and Martinez, 2 of their top targets, that's a great sign. And I think that De Jong, he would be such a good link between the defense and the attack. What he would give to the movement that would be exploding ahead of De Jong at Old Trafford, like the way he would pick passes, the way that he could get that team going. There's really not many other players in world football that United could sign as backup. If people, I keep seeing lists of alternate players if they don't get, there aren't many. Like, you can't get to De Jong's level.
He's
like
elite. The
reason he doesn't want to leave Barcelona is because, like, he's worried he'll never get back there, and he always dreamed of being there, and it's so hard to get to Barcelona.
Why is no one else in for him then? Why is it just United being linked? Like, I mean, Pep's just gone and bought Calvin Phillips. You take De Jong all day long over Cal. I know they're different sorts of players, same position-ish, but like, are United competing with anyone here?
No, they're not at the moment. That's the other thing,
Chelsea, go get De Jong. I love De Jong.
They've got a pretty free run at him. Obviously, Chelsea, he's come up in Chelsea's many talks with Barcelona after all the players that Barca have tried to sign from Chelsea. So they has been spoken about, but I think Chelsea's priorities are just elsewhere. Oh my God, that'd be a disaster. Imagine Man United fans. imagine the implosion if he ended up joining Chelsea instead. Oh my
Offers
days!
him a better deal, and
can't handle
we'll
it.
give him Azpilicueta as part of the deal or something. Oh, I'll tell you what, just have Alonso as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sterling
One
nailed in my team, focal point of our
Ooh.
attack.
Interesting
it's a
take
brave
that,
choice because
Gav.
he's so expensive. He
10.0,
does have good
yeah.
output. He has good output. You can't argue with that from Sterling. Even
Stats.
last season, when he was in and out of that team, he still delivered, on the stats front. So I think he's a good get. I do think that he'll score goals for Chelsea. It's just the 10 million. I just can't
Mason
figure
Mount's
out.
8 million. And now goal involvements, he might edge it, Sterling, but for 2 million, 20% extra.
It just messes up what you can do elsewhere. And I think that's the key. It's that extra 2 million just doesn't do it for me. It's a tricky one. I love Sterling.
He might be a bandwagon we jump on. If he's scoring braces every week, sure, we'll move there, but we need to see it first. I
need to see it for sure.
He's played in that Liverpool team and then that City team that was so free-flowing and scored so many goals. The Chelsea team isn't up and running to that standard yet.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Stephen Harrison, best 4.5 keeper. We'll keep this one short. I don't want to bore you all, but Meslier for me, there's other good options. It's hard. Meslier is the best of an average bunch. The 4.5 is a 4.5 for a reason. They play for below par teams. Sanchez at Brighton, Pickford at Everton, Raya at Brentford, Meslier at Leeds. They're the 4 best options, but I think Mellier's got the best fixtures on paper, and I think Brentford might suffer from second season syndrome. I think Jesse Marsh's Leeds is very different to Bielsa's Leeds, which will produce more clean sheets, but it's a bit of a coin toss.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Leeds apparently pre-season has been quite an interesting watch. I haven't personally been able to see any of them, but I was listening to a guy talk about it the other day, and the 4-2-2-2 isn't in use. So that's interesting. Jesse Marsh so far seems to be resisting that. So a lot of people saying that they don't think Leeds are going to be leaky, that's going to be a key to them this season. So Meslier does seem like a very good pick. I can see me jumping ship from Pickford.
Yeah, and the template is Raya. Lots loving Raya. I spoke to a Brentford coach the other day who said that experimenting with the back 4, I think that will massively impact Raya's clean sheets. Also, the whole second season syndrome and perhaps not having that shock factor that teams would have faced when playing Brentford in the past. So I'm not sold on Raya either, who I think is a really good keeper. Apparently, he's so good with his feet, he could play centre mid. He's outstanding. Really? Yeah, according to the coach. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, for me, I'm going Meslier, I think, or I find the extra 0.5 and I go Mendy just for the assurance of clean sheets. Mendy at 5 million is very, very underpriced in my opinion.
Yep.
Let's move on to the next couple of questions. Colm, Dean, please tell me the cards actively look. This happened last time you were in the league. You had to buy a ton of centre back, just defenders, and you got Anderson, didn't you? Who's now at Palace. Who's going to be the next centre back coming into Fulham this time?
Well, Issa Diop's the one that they're pressing on. It's going to cost £20 million. So it's a case of, are they going to go there? West Ham would sell if they come in with the right offer. Fulham just at the moment not gone and pressed the button and gone through the deal. I think there are a few other cheaper options on their radar too. A couple of foreign players that particularly heard of, so I can't really judge those potential signings. But honestly, if Fulham have Tim Ream starting the season, we're dead. That's my biggest concern. Players like Tosin, Tosin was at Man City. He can definitely raise his. Yeah, he's got a bit of a rep, and he's good. I like him.
Yeah,
he's not a top Premier League player by any stretch of the imagination, but he's very good, and I would kind of trust him if he had a good partner. So we have to wait and see. Sorry, Colm, I can't give you too much reason to get excited there, but Fulham will sign someone. Let's just go with that. They are going to sign at least one centre back.
What's your take from Laura on Stones? Is that there's Stones and Foden couldn't travel to the States? I don't think. I think that was the rumour. So Stones and Foden have both haven't travelled to the States, and I don't think they're injured. I think Gundogan was the other one, and I think Gundogan was said to be injured. Stones and Foden, there are entry requirements to get in the States for a variety of things. They don't over speculate, but I'd seen it mentioned that for example, to get into the US, you need to be of a certain vaccination status. You obviously can't have been arrested in the past and stuff like that. I don't know the detail too much, but I just wonder if Stones and Foden missing out might have something to do with entry requirements rather than fitness.
Yeah, well, it was that they were denied entry, wasn't it? Rather than
was
they just
it?
hadn't
Okay.
travelled. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that they literally just couldn't go, and they've gone to Croatia, I think it is, with the younger like development squad players to prepare for the season. So personally, I don't think that there is that much in this to be concerned about, and I guess the only time we'll really know is when they come back to the country and we see, for example, the Community Shield. Like, how does John Stones figure then and stuff? I mean, I doubt there are that many people contemplating picking John Stones in FPL, but Foden
was one I had my eye on, and then I saw that news and went, if he's not in the pre-season tour, it'll all be on the Community Shield, as you say. But again, I'll be slightly nervous for that game week 1. Maybe their partners want a night out in Dubrovnik and they just fancied going Croatia. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, it's a good place to go.
We'll watch this space on that one, but obviously they'll be away from the main team for, I guess they're touring for 7 to 10 days. CR7 fan, is there any news on Cucurella to City? I mean, that's been talked about, but it'll all be triggered off the back of the Zinchenko move, which looks like it's happening. Exactly. So yeah, he's a good replacement.
Yeah, he's a very good replacement. He's perfect for that Man City team. Yeah, it's only gone quiet because there's no real progress they've been able to make. That will heat up next week.
Is an Arsenal asset essential? That's strong. They open the season to Crystal Palace, which I think is at Selhurst Park. It is. That's a tough fixture, Friday night. We saw them Friday night game to open the season last year against Brentford and they lost. Then it's Leicester at home. That's not easy either. But then it is Bournemouth, Fulham. Then it's Villa. So it's an okay start to the season, but it's not amazing. Essential strong. I don't think I'm in love with the Jesus pick until game week 3-4 for the Bournemouth Fulham. Martinelli might just be enough, Aninder. I think in terms of value, Martinelli at 6 versus Saka at 8, you go Martinelli. Martinelli versus Jesus is a tough one because he has looked brilliant pre-season and he's clearly going to be the main man.
Yeah, I mean, I've managed to get Jesus into my team at the moment. I'd rather take a hit elsewhere. I think he's looking so sharp since that signing that I think he's worth. Yeah, he's just worth crowbarring into your team if you can.
I'm getting nervous about not having him.
He looks like he's ready for this. He really does.
Chilwell or Mount, if you had to choose another Chelsea asset, you've already got Reece James. If you can afford Mount at 8 million, what I'd say about that 8 million midfield bracket, I think Kulusevski's still an option. I really do, even with Richarlison for that Southampton fixture on the opening day. I think Luis Diaz is a great option. Mount does seem to deliver consistently, though, and I think we often overlook him in FPL. Chilwell, off the back of such a big injury, I question him being able to play 90 minutes in game week 1. So again, I'd need to see him in pre-season a little bit more to want to back Chilwell.
Finding form too isn't easy straight away. So he'll do fine, I'm sure. But he was out a long time, and I think that he's probably just worth avoiding for now and just waiting.
Yeah, like last season, I think he got 500 odd minutes. Like he was injured, then he made his comeback, and then he had the big injury in like December or whenever it was. So he's missed a huge amount of football. Jason, and you can't underestimate missing that amount of football. So again, be hesitant there on Chilwell. Thoughts on Everton this season? Same affordable assets. I mean, Gordon's 5.5 instead of 4.5. So they've got a 4 million defender, Everton, who's probably going to start at right back, they've spent a lot of money on to replace.
Yeah, Patterson is playing, yeah.
So Patterson could be one at 4.0. But outside of that, from an FPL perspective, they're weaker, aren't they? They've lost Richarlison. They could lose another big name player.
Yeah, I'm
work
really
to do in the transfer market.
I'm not seeing much here that takes my fancy at all. I mean, I said at the top of the show, like I think Everton could be in real trouble again this season, and Lampard really needs to do some work in the transfer market. I mean, I was looking at their lineup as I was saying that Arsenal pre-season friendly, and it just doesn't excite me at all, to be honest with you. Calvert-Lewin's still there for the time being. I'm sure he's looking for some reassurance that other players are coming in. They've looked at like Max Cornet and stuff like that, but even Fulham are trying to get him now, and there's a chance to go to Fulham instead of Everton. If they start losing players like that to us, then they really are struggling.
Yeah. Mark Nash said in the chat, Kulu will start right wing back. Against Southampton. No, he won't, Mark. Conte's got enough wing backs to want to play.
He's literally
Kulu
got
there.
3 or 4 other people that can go there.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I know a lot. So many said this about Kulu when he came in January. I was like, he's played there once or twice in his career. Like, the guy's a wide forward, and that's where he'll play. And look how good he was. Why would you move him? Frode. Yeah. Conte moves not so good wingers into wing backs where he needs to. He did it with Victor Moses. He's hinted at doing it with Lucas. He ain't doing it to Kulu in his prime. Is Luke planned? You got a hat-trick for Palace the other day. He's such an FPL. Is he going to? No, he's not. Like, Edouard, Mateta, Benteke, only one of them starts. This guy's number 4 in the pecking order. No, unfortunately not. That is not going to be our 4.5. The 4.5 forward who could get game time this year, and there is one, but we need him to have a loan move first, is Delap at City. If Liam Delap got a loan move to a Premier League team, and I don't think he's really been linked, he's a 4.5 forward. He's obviously at City at the moment. He's the only one.
Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
Carry some hope for.
Yeah, like Plange, I've barely heard of him until this weekend, but it's a great impact to make. It's great for confidence, but I can't see him figuring enough. And in the Dean, thoughts on your boy Mitrovic, 15 plus goals this season.
Heavy.
I mean, 15's a lot, isn't it? So I'd be delighted if he got 15 plus goals. I'll say 10 plus goals because he will get 10
plus. He might keep you in the Premier League. That's a lot of goals.
It is a lot of goals. He'll get 10 plus for sure. It might be that, I think Ollie Watkins and Toney, I think Watkins got 12 and Toney got 13 last season. Like, for Mitrovic to do better than Toney, I'd be surprised. Like,
he probably got 4
good
pens in that.
Yeah.
Toney.
Yeah, so I reckon 13 is a reasonable amount to expect from Mitro. He's not going to score 40 odd again, that's for sure.
Couple more questions before we answer them. Guys, this is a reminder. If you're new around here, and I think a few of you might be tonight, do you know we do this on Mondays and Fridays at 7 every week? We're here not just pre-season, talking transfers and FPL. In today's show, we've done our transfer chat with Dean. We've done a No-Salah draft. We've done 3 players that I think you should swerve, all popular assets. So feel free to go back and watch the last hour. These streams are always an hour, but more importantly, they're for you guys. We answer your questions. And here's another one from Mark. Ben Yedder, could he be going anywhere interesting? Ben Yedder's been around for a while, it seems. Wherever he goes, he seems to score goals. We've always seen him in Liga. He's been linked in the past when we moved to the Premier League, way back when to United. What do you reckon, Dean? Could he be linked with a mid-table Premier League team?
Well, Wolves is the club that I've heard him mentioned, linked with, and I was speaking to someone about it the other day to try and find out if it was genuine. And there did seem to be something in it. I wasn't wholly convinced on the back of the conversation that they were about to sign him or anything, but I think a club of that level would be a pretty good fit for Ben Yedder. And I think that Wolves obviously desperate for a new signing right now that can lift morale and help out Raul Jimenez. So, yeah, I think Ben Yedder to Wolves would be a reasonable fit, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think he's really got any offers on the table right now.
Yeah. Vindy, do you think Martial will be one to watch? This is the $1 million question. Who's going to play number 9 for United? If it's Martial, he's out of position. If it's Rashford, he's a 6.5 mid. Is it going to be Is it going to be a Donny or a Bruno? They have to sign a 9 if Ronaldo's not staying. And even if Ronaldo is staying, because he's not the future, will Ten Hag pick him? So who's going to play there?
I wouldn't surprise me if Ronaldo is starting that game, that first game.
Really? Without.
Yeah, I think once he's trying every club in Europe, right? Everyone that's in the Champions League, it seems like he's knocked on their door, asked if they want him. Atletico Madrid today, he was linked to. I can't see him signing Atletico Madrid personally.
They always sign forward. They sign so many forwards. That club.
But remember, how much he was at Real Madrid, and Atleti hated Cristiano Ronaldo. So I just can't see that's where he rocks up. He's running out of options for sure, and
he'll hate Simeone ball.
Yeah, I personally think he'll be staying at Man United. I saw Ten Hag said today that not only does he expect him to stay, he said there's an option for another year. So it could be Ronaldo stays for another year after this. I can't see it, but yeah, don't be surprised if Ronaldo does line up for Man United first game of the season.
There we go. I don't know if it'll be in your FPL teams, but don't expect your United wide forwards, your fringe players like Martial and Rashford. Don't be surprised if they're not in that game week 1 squad, because they could sign a wide forward in your Anthony types. Ronaldo could come back in. There's still so much there. Sancho, however, at 7.5, does look to me like the United player that's caught my eye, and he's 7.5. Sure. It's not much more. Spend the extra and have that assurance. Definitely. Guys, it's been awesome chatting tonight. I've really enjoyed it. I'm hoping for all those of you that are in the UK, we've helped you through the last hour in the heat. I've got the
it's cooled down a bit now. Everyone will be loving it and get back in the garden.
FPL focus, love that comment. He's in Cambridge where I think it's been pretty hot today. Please sweat and subscribe, says Graham, FPL focus. And look, like loads of you have liked, just do us one little favor before you leave. Give us a thumbs up, and then off the back of this stream, feel free to give us a comment. Not in the chat, in the actual comments section. I don't know how the YouTube algorithm works, but apparently it's good for us. Join our mini league. We've been chasing green arrows. He's been Dean. I've been Gianni, and we'll see you on Friday.